Hello to our patrons. Welcome to this artist talk with Constanza Piaggio. Her exhibition, The Trap, is on view. We will discuss this and other works. This is her second exhibition with the gallery. Welcome, Constanza.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Yes, me too. I'm sad I'm not there, but it's good that we are doing this to be a little bit closer.
Yes, I like to use these talks to kind of mark time and just hear your thoughts about the work. So before we approach the trap, tell us a little bit about your history, your practice, your concerns, the major themes that run through your work.
Well, for the people that doesn't know me, I introduce myself. I'm taking this call from Paris, where I live since 2010. But I did all my studies at Buenos Aires, the city where I was born. And I studied photography, cinema, and some theory classes like art history.
Constanza, you executed this work a decade ago. Can you talk about the impetus for the work at that time, how it came together, what created the rules for the work?
Yes, this work I started in 2007 and I finished in 2009. So yeah, it was a long time ago. I started to work on it already as a whole and not separate image. That's very important, I will say, on my work, that I work each project as a unit. To start the image, it was all the time like an emotion that was the click of it, the feeling I wanted to create. But sometimes also this image was coming all together, but clearly there was a mood I was trying to construct around. So every time in my work, the technique is a very important decision. It's not an accident, and it's something I think of it is very important. It was important since the beginning for me, the quality of the image, and I knew I wanted big print. So all the pictures, I did it in large format and with continuous lighting, like in cinema. So each picture took a lot of time, practice, rehearsal. So it wasn't fast process. Each image I worked it carefully, like almost like a painting. So in each image it will have their colors and every detail I wanted to, like every detail also is a clue to give the story, because I have a story of my mom, but also I create these situations the most open in a way possible for the viewers to create their own. I think that is almost the beauty of the photography, to be completely open, and people very fast they go inside and they make them their own. You enter in a mood. So I think like every time you see one, it's almost like an exercise. So you start to see one, you start to imagine, and then you go to the other one. So you enter in this almost, it's like a game. What I like of doing this mise en scène, that it forces you in a way to think in a story of your own. So it's impossible to like not think. Sometimes other art pieces is more difficult, and they don't feel they can do it. With this, clearly there is storytelling there, and they can appropriate, and it works. Every time I'm very surprised about that, because you think that in a way for you it's very clear what's happening. I mean, you have an idea and you stick with it, and then you talk with someone, and it's a whole universe open up to you. It's like something you never thought is, okay. So it's always a surprise. So that's why it seems so important to open up the dialogue. Well, clearly more than ever, but in all the aspects, in all the society, because there are so many voices, so many point of view, even when you are convinced that you have the only truth, the only way. No, every person is different. And in a work like this, it's more easy to see. I mean, you feel this very clear in people because they tell you, I thought about this.
When I first knew this work in 2008, it was still in progress, and these scenes were the only part of it. The pastorals came later. Can you talk about that?
I think they open the meaning, and they are like they link the image between themselves. There are also other clues, and they open the game in a way, but they are very important for all this series to become, because I don't do huge series.
So, these pastorals, did you build those too, or were those things kind of you encountered?
No, it was an encounter, but I look for them. Yes, those pictures I found it. It was in the south of France, but it's a place for the hunters. It was like a playground for them with a lot of different traps and places to hide. What is interesting that there are constructions, clearly, but from other people, for the hunters. And I knew I wanted something like this. I looked for them. I had to ask permissions. I don't know. It seems it was quite artificial in a way. I took them for this idea. Also, I don't like when it's just like you feel like a series, a formula you repeat.
Yeah.
I like to add a more complex element to arrive to more complex thoughts, ideas, to not be so straightforward in a way.
Constanza, what have you been working on more recently?
So recently I'm working pictures of medium and 35 millimeters, but it's more relationship of nature and the changing of landscape.
They feel really related to some of the things you were doing in mental meteorites.
Yes, mental meteorites. I was printing pictures of my personal archive from pictures I like and I wasn't using it, more personal pictures. It was very random from very different also formats. So that's why all are very different formats. And I was using papers and pigment to intervene in them, but it was very ephemeral. The work was a picture of that process. And these sharp memories, I did picture thinking that I was going to do this.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes, because I'm very concerned about climate change and how the man is distracting in a definitely process the land, like the nature, the landscape we live in it. So I did this series called Sharp Memories. I wanted to have something, I wanted to be in direct contact with the material, which in photography is like, you can't. The paper is photographic paper, so when you tear, you can see the plastic, and I like that. And I like this idea of doing something direct. Mental matter is stuck like this, and This new series, Sharp Memories, in a way it was that also, but with the different process, but it was that also, to have something direct, to intervene this image. Here, for example, in the trap, I intervene this image, but in the construction, when I'm doing it. In this, I'm doing it in the picture itself. It was the most direct way to show like what we are doing to the planet, to nature. We are in this Anthropocene era. For me, it was in a way to say, okay, this part I'm tearing, I cannot put it again. It's irreplaceable. So the holes that I put a color on it is also a mark to show like, okay, it's the part that is not anymore there, and we cannot do anything about it. Well, we can, we have to change, but what is done is done.
Yeah, it fill it in, but it's not what used to be there.
Yeah, exactly. I feel it like in a color, in plain color, you know. I didn't try to replace the image. And also the mixing in this series with nature, and there are also some pictures of fragments of paintings I took in some museums. For me, this painting is to how do you say, to point out the history, the history of the world, the history of us, and also a little bit why I say it's optimist, because for me, okay, if the human, we did these beautiful things, if we can create these beautiful things, it means we can change, and we are capable of beautiful things, just not destruction.
Yeah.
We can create beautiful things also.